I would love to address, if we could, termites. I'd love to address mosquitoes because I had mosquitoes, something terrible in my backyard this year. I'd love to address ants because I know we've got several different types that get into the homes, one that likes sweet and one that likes something else. I'm just talking here. I'm not a pest control expert. I'd like to talk ticks and fleas as well as roaches. So what are the most common things, most common bugs that Northwest Exterminating goes out to homes to treat? Forget termites because I'm sure that's the biggest portion of your business.
So that, we're in Georgia, we're in the South. We've got a little bit of everything down here. So, the main things that we treat, that we get calls every day. I'm going out every day. Somebody's got ants in the house. Of course, summertime, mosquitoes everywhere. Roaches, we've got several different kinds of roaches here in Georgia. So we really have a mixture down here of what we treat and what we go out for.
What would you recommend, or what would Northwest Exterminating do if they went out to treat for roaches?
So you want to get rid of their food source.
Yeah.
Number one thing.
Yeah.
Make sure you clean up really good. You don't leave any food out. Keep everything bagged up, especially in an apartment, because they can always come right through the wall. It could be your neighbor that's bringing them in. The big thing, roaches, especially in Georgia, it's the moisture. That's what's bringing them in. You typically always see them around the pipes in the kitchen, in the bathroom. They're in there for the moisture. So the big thing is to make sure everything, if you have a moisture issue, handle it, any leaks, any rotten wood, but also sealing up those pipes around where they're going in.
Yeah.
Make sure they're sealed up good so they can't go up those pipes.
Okay, so roaches we've got a plan for. How about ants? And what can we do to prevent ants from getting into our house? And then, and I'd love to, real quickly before we get started, what type of ants? I know you said there's two different types of ants. What types of ants do we have, and how do we make sure they don't get in?
Well, we have way more than two.
Oh, way more than two. Oh, I must be the one who said two because it's wrong.
The biggest ones that I deal with are the fire ants, carpenter ants, Argentine ants. We have such a variety, and you think we don't have them, and then sure enough, next year we find out we do have a different kind of ant here. But as far as keeping them away from the house, you want to make it as hard as possible for them to get in. So like we were talking about before with roaches, you want to make sure everything's sealed up. You make sure you don't have any food laying out. Make sure they have no reason to come in the house. But sometimes that's not going to help. They have those little guys going out there trying to explore, to find things to take back. So they're going to get in the house one way or another. Yeah. So a big thing is to keep the brush off the house, no vegetation. I know I had ants at my house recently. I couldn't figure out where they're coming from. Come to find out they were carpenter ants, and it was a railroad tie that was way back on my property that was rotted out, and they had a huge colony in there. They were coming all the way from the back of my property all the way to the house. So sometimes it's not even right there by the house.
Well, let's talk quickly about mosquitoes, termites, fleas, and ticks.
Sure. So I guess let's jump into termites. Termites, the moisture. That's what's bringing them in.
Okay.
You don't want earth to wood contact. You want to make it hard for them to get in.
Okay.
So it's getting to be cold. So we have stacks of wood out. Don't put that wood up against your house.
Or anywhere near the house. Got it.
Nowhere near the house.
Put it out there where the carpenter ants can get it.
That's right. We want to make it hard for them to get indoors.
All right.
Mosquitoes.
Yep.
It's puddles of water, so you don't want to leave. Make sure all your drainage ditches, everything's clear of debris. You don't want any moisture issues around your property.
Got it.
Don't leave wheelbarrows pulled, flipped over. So you want to make sure they have nowhere, because that's just a breeding ground for them.
Perfect. And then fleas and ticks, I would assume that's really all about treating your dog, treating your pets.
That's right. The number one thing I tell people is make sure that you have medication for your animals.
Yep.
But also keep the brush back from the house. They live out in the tall grass. Make sure that's cut. Make sure you're vacuuming regularly. So if they do bring them in, you handle it before it gets to be a real big issue.